Coming up on WVU News, the WVU Rockefeller Neuroscience Institute just published groundbreaking research on a new treatment for Alzheimer's disease. I'm Janvi Patel, and I'll tell you more on what this means for caregivers for individuals with Alzheimer's.
Straight ahead on WVU News, as many as 85% of opioid overdoses occur in the presence of a bystander, and fewer than half are reported to police. I'm Hannah High School, and I'll tell you about a law working to change this.
I'm Ty McClung, and coming up, I'll take you here to the State House for the latest from the West Virginia Legislature. Our Emmy Award-winning WVU News starts now.
West Virginia ranks highest in the country for opioid overdoses, but a new bill was just signed into law that could help save lives. We'll explain. I'm Catherine Brook.
And I'm Claudia DeLima. The WVU Rockefeller Neuroscience Institute is doing groundbreaking work to combat Alzheimer's.
These stories and more coming up on WVU News, an Emmy award-winning newscast produced by television journalism students right here at West Virginia University.
Catherine, the opioid crisis continues to rage across West Virginia, but the legislature has taken action they think will help the issue. That's right, Claudia. Legislative reporter Ty McClung joins us in the studio to explain. Ty?
Thanks, Catherine. Claudia, the bill was signed into law by West Virginia Governor Jim Justice on February 2nd and decriminalizes the possession of drug testing kits. Under previous state code, drug testing strips were considered drug paraphernalia, but lawmakers believe this bipartisan effort will help make a difference in the fight against overdose deaths, especially fentanyl. More than 1% of overdose deaths nationwide happen in West Virginia, and lawmakers like Senator Charles Trump are worried that the number is increasing because of fentanyl and other substances being unknowingly added to street drugs. Trump says the legislature is trying to address the issue.
We're hearing throughout the state so many accounts of drugs being adulterated with other drugs or other substances, especially right now fentanyl, which is highly lethal and dangerous.
Fentanyl is 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. It is so strong that 2 milligrams is considered to be a lethal dose by the CDC. The tests are simple to use. First, take 10 milligrams of any substance and dilute it in water. Then, take your test strip and submerge it in the water for up to 15 seconds. 3 minutes later, you'll be able to tell if you're in the presence of fentanyl or any other drug. The bill makes it clear that these testing kits are legal to possess. Critics say the legislation could increase synthetic drug use. However, many studies refute that, and some students believe it will save lives.
People can use these testing kits to make sure that they're not consuming these drugs and to make sure that they're healthy and everything.
Trump hopes the change will lead to fewer overdoses. WVU offers free fentanyl test strips for students to pick up at Student Health, no questions asked. But anyone in West Virginia can order free fentanyl test strips. Just go to the link at the bottom of your screen. Catherine, Claudia, back to you.
Thanks, Ty. West Virginia implemented the Good Samaritan overdose law in 2015 to combat opioid and alcohol-related overdoses.
That's right, Claudia, but many are still unaware of its intentions. Hannah High School reports.
The Good Samaritan Law was passed to protect individuals who call for medical assistance for an overdose victim.
I think not waiting, and I think that fear of getting into trouble, you know, the longer you wait, the worse it is kind of thing.
Since the enactment of the law, one study reports a 14% decrease in the rate of opioid-related overdoses. With 37% of college students regularly using an illegal drug and abusing alcohol, it's crucial to have Narcan on hand. But even when administering Narcan, you must call 911. And with the Good Samaritan Law, there are no consequences to that phone call. 3 studies also found a positive association between knowledge of the law and an increased likelihood in calling 911.
And I think if you come into an incident where the law is impeding helping the general welfare of your fellow citizen, then I feel in that instance you should prioritize helping people over punishing people.
So what do some Morgantown residents have to say about the Good Samaritan Law?
Even if you can't physically help somebody, you can help call 911. You can bring supplies.
A law is a great start. Giving anonymity to people is a great start, but there's a general community conversation that we need to have also to go with it.
This law also states that individuals who experience a drug overdose can no longer be prosecuted for possession of small amounts of drugs or underage drinking. Hannah High School, WVU News, Morgantown.
Claudia, the West Virginia House of Delegates unanimously passed a House bill allocating $2 million to the WVU Rockefeller Neuroscience Institute for new treatments, including one for Alzheimer's.
That's right, Catherine. John V. Patel joins us live in the studio to tell us more. John V.
Thanks, Catherine. Claudia. West Virginia has one of the highest rates of Alzheimer's in the United States, and over 6 million Americans are affected by the disease. Most of them are 65 years and older. But they are not the only ones affected by this disease.
Brittany Murray was a full-time caregiver for her father, who has Alzheimer's disease until recently. Brittany moved her dad to assisted living after finding it hard to work full-time and be a caregiver.
I'm the youngest of two girls, so I'm daddy's little girl, and I don't know the last time that he actually wished me a happy birthday.
Murray works at the Rockefeller Neuroscience Institute, where a new FDA-approved treatment for patients with mild Alzheimer's utilizes ultrasounds to make the brain more receptive to antibody treatment.
It's a proof of concept that it's possible to get higher concentrations of these drugs in safely, at least with 3 subjects.
Even though the treatment is in very early stages, it could impact caregivers like Murray down the road.
According to the CDC, every year more than 16 million Americans provide upwards of 18 billion hours of unpaid care for family members and friends with Alzheimer's disease and other related dementias.
Caregivers are at greater risk of anxiety and depression after caring for both the father and grandmother. Murray says the research is uplifting.
It's not going to bring back my grandma. It's not going to help my dad, but hopefully it'll help others. A hopefulness in the face of a disease that often makes you feel, hopeless.
The West Virginia Alzheimer's Association holds a support group at RNI on the first Wednesday of the month.
Projections show that 37 million people could be afflicted with this disease around the world by 2050. This groundbreaking research was recently highlighted on 60 Minutes. Catherine, Claudia, back to you.
Thanks, John V. Coming up, college athletes are cashing in on their name, image, and likeness.
That's right, Catherine. That story and more after the break.
In spring 2020, at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, 70% of public schools had moved online. And today, homeschooling is now the fastest growing form of education in America. I'm Catherine Brook, and I'll have that story next.
Mountaineers know. Really means let's try. Let's create. Let's explore. And let's do it all together.
Catherine, did you know 9 million Americans have been homeschooled since February of 2020?
And in 2023, West Virginia was ranked top 5 in the nation for the most homeschooled students. I went to a local homeschooling hub to find out why so many parents are making this choice. More than 8% of West Virginia families choose to homeschool at least one of their children under the age of 18. Krista Soderholm made the decision nearly a decade ago as her daughter was entering kindergarten.
She was already reading and stuff, and I was just not sure that kindergarten would be a good fit for her. And so we decided to try homeschooling, and we just decided to try it for a year. And since she was going to be homeschooled, we figured, well, we might as well homeschool my son, and then we liked it, and so we have kept doing it.
Homeschooling is often linked to higher rates of academic achievement, as well as higher career achievement after graduation. According to the National Home and Education Research Institute, homeschoolers typically score 15 to 30% higher than public school students on standardized tests. whereas homeschoolers score 85 to 87%, and public schools score about 50. Kaylee Riccatelli, who was homeschooled in elementary and middle school, says the experience has helped her in college.
Homeschooling is a lot of learning on your own, and that's what grad school is. So it's a lot of you're researching one topic that you're interested in, and it's knowing how to sit yourself down and do your work.
Soderholm says that individualized attention is why she continues to homeschool.
We really like that we can tailor each individual subject to our child so that if they're excelling in math or whatever they're excelling in, we can go ahead in that subject and keep them at level on other subjects.
Soderholm says that even though there is a small homeschool community here in Mon County, it brings them closer together. For more information on the Mountaineer Homeschool Hub, visit the link located at the bottom of your screen.
As of 2021, college athletes across the country have been getting paid for their name, image, and likeness.
And 3 years later, the NIL scene has grown. Sports anchor Tanner Enyart is here to explain. Tanner?
That's right, Catherine and Claudia. WVU just announced the brand new online NIL store, which benefits Mountaineer student athletes and their abilities to merchandise on their name, image, and likeness. In 2021, student athletes made a combined total of $1.6 billion in revenue made through NIL deals. This money is earned through a variety of endorsements, including public appearances, autograph signings, sponsorships, and brand product deals, both at the local and national levels. Student athletes around the country earn on average between $1,000 and $10,000 per year of NIL income. However, for some athletes, big bucks are being made. According to On3, LSU gymnast Livy Dunn has a $3.5 million valuation, and Mountaineer offensive lineman Wyatt Milam has an NIL valuation of $654,000, which ranks 63rd in the top 100 of all student athletes around the NCAA. Bronny James, a men's basketball player from USC, has the highest NIL valuation in the country at $5.8 million. These athletes are some of the best in their sports around the country, and here at WVU, athletes will have an all-new way to cash in on their name, image, and likeness with the brand new Mountaineer Exchange.
It is. It's for every WVU student athlete that scholarship or walk on to have an opportunity to benefit in an NCAA permissible way off their name, image, and likeness.
WVU women's basketball guard J.J. Quinterly is one of these student athletes who is cashing in on NIL.
It'd be good to get some money out of it, but I ain't gonna talk about that now. I'd love seeing it out there. I mean, if they got the jerseys, they go online, I think they make them themselves or whatever, so it's good to see that, yeah.
Whether it's on the turf, hardwood, in the pool, or at the rifle range, all WVU student athletes from the 18 varsity Mountaineer sports will be eligible for participation with the new Mountaineer Exchange. The NIL store has partnered with Country Roads Trust, further extending earning opportunities for Mountaineer student athletes. And here's an interesting fact. There's no cap on how much college athletes can earn. WVU student athletes rank #1 in the new Big 12 for estimated name, image, and likeness opportunities. Catherine and Claudia, back to you.
Thanks, Tanner, and don't miss Morgantown Theater Company's Grease this weekend, February 15th to the 18th. For more information, see the link on your screen. Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of WVU News. I'm Catherine Brook.
And I'm Claudia DeLima. You can visit us online on our website, watch our shows on YouTube, and statewide on West Virginia Public Broadcasting on Sundays at 6:30 p.m.
We also stream on HD Media's website and on demand KDKA's TV's website. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.